Hello guys, this is FK, and today we are going to be doing something for everyone that desires a remote job. Yeah, if you are looking to get a remote job, or even if you have a remote job and you no longer have it and you're trying to get another one, or you're trying to get a better remote job, yeah, today is the day we're going to be dealing with all that. And I've brought the best person I know to talk about that. I've brought the best person. Now, this guy might not be a popular face. Some of you might know him. He might not be a popular face. For people with very strong memory, there was this with Jackpot issue that happened and he was highly involved. So we might touch on that a little bit. So you might remember him from there. So he's going to be here. This for me. This is my remote job ninja. Like when it comes to getting a remote job, there's no one better that I've seen than this guy, and I've been inspired by his methods, his way of preparation, and honestly, it's amazing. And today, I'm lucky to bring him here so that he can come and share all those experiences with us. I know that a lot of people out there, especially from Africa, want to work for all these international companies. You want to earn in dollars and all this kind of stuff. This is the day we're going to talk about that. Now, I don't know how many parts this video is going to be, because the last video I said it was going to be 2 parts and it ended up being 3 parts. Now the 3 parts were almost an hour each. But today we're just going to try to trash out as many questions as possible so that you can leave here knowing that you have gotten enough to be able to attempt your next remote job. In the house today, I have one of my guys. This is Segun. Segun is here to tell us about his experience with bidding for remote jobs, how he even believed he can get remote jobs in the first place, and how the journey has been so far, how it has been working for these companies, and what you can expect when you go into interviews, how you can prepare, and even on the job, how you can keep the job. Because remote jobs, it's not just about getting the job. You also have to be good enough to keep the job. So today we're going to be looking into how you can hire. Segun, let's meet you.
All right, so my name is Segun Oladiran.
Oladiran.
So I don't know if I should say I'm a software developer or I'm a senior software developer.
Type yourself now. Nobody gets to level without being senior.
All right, so so I'm a senior software developer. I've been at this for, I'd say, 7 years now. Yeah, roughly 7 years. So
that's enough to be senior.
Yeah. I've worked with a lot of companies. I've worked with a lot of people. I've also worked with you. I feel like that's everything about me.
Okay. So are you on the web, mobile, everything?
All right.
How full is your stack?
So I'm a full stack guy, but I do mostly back end stuff. So I'll say full stack back end heavy.
Full stack back end heavy. So the thing is, I know you've told us your name, Segun. Definitely, everybody has heard that. How was your journey like? Is there a way summarize that journey for? Okay, how did you go from this first day? How did you start getting to tech? Then how did you get to the point when we met? When we met, and from there, how did you? Because I think I was lucky to be around when you made the switch to international jobs.
Yeah.
So I think there probably was an inflection point. So how was it like before? And how did you?
All right. So originally I got into tech. Well, it was more like an hobby for me.
Okay.
So I just sat down in my house one day, and then there was a laptop in my house, and I was just like, these guys are doing these things. How does website work? How do games work? And then I went on Google, and then I Googled some things that has to do with games and the rest. And then I was redirected to a YouTube video.
Right.
So where I now saw how to build a game in Java. So but then it was a guessing game of numbers where the program generates a number at random.
Okay.
And then you guess the number. If you're close, it tells you how close you are to the number. So that was like my first introduction to programming. So I built a guessing game in Java. So you guess between a number from 1 to 10. And then so I did that for I'll say like 2 months, and then I stopped programming entirely. Okay. So like I said, it was just like a hobby for me.
That was around 2017.
No, this was around 2015.
2015. Oh.
Yeah. So it was around 2015, 2016. So 2015, I think. So I
Were
did
you,
that
like,
for like 2 months.
out of secondary school then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was already done with secondary school then. So I did that for 2 months, and then I just left it. And then so, fast forward to 2017, my dad came home one day and was like, he says, "You're not in school, go and look for a skill and learn a digital skill. So maybe digital design or something."
Okay.
And then my uncle has a friend that is also into IT. So he does graphics design, web design, he does everything. You know how tech used to be that time. It is now that people have a niche in tech. Then there is no niche.
There's no, yeah.
You just
Graphic
need
designer, web designer,
everything.
everybody was a designer of some sort.
He was working with WordPress. In fact, he could do everything. Yes, that's so my uncle came and then he was like, "Alpha, I have a friend that can teach you web design."
Okay.
So then my dad was not like, I should pick one. Do I want web design or I want graphics design? And me, since I've already, learned a little about programming, I was like, let me go for web design.
Okay.
So then I started. So that was my journey. So then he told me, my dad gave me one Toshiba laptop like this.
Okay.
That is a desktop.
Yeah. Toshiba laptops used to have the maddest speakers that time.
So it was a desktop. If I'm working and then there is no light, the laptop goes off. There is no battery. There is no anything. So then I met my uncle's friend. He's also like an uncle to me because he's also like an uncle. He's also like an uncle to me. So I met him. He's like a family friend.
Okay.
So I've known him since when I was a kid. So I grew up in the family and everything. I've always known him as my uncle too. So I won't really call him my uncle friend. I'll call him my uncle. So I met him at his office at Mitama. So when I went to his office that day, so he gave me a seat and he was like, "Hey, take this course, take that course, take this course." So he gave me a course on web development, JavaScript, HTML, CSS.
Yeah.
And then he gave me a course on PHP. So this was 2017. Nobody was doing Node.js. Nobody in Nigeria was doing Node.js. You were?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So I didn't even know Node.js existed.
Okay.
But everywhere I was going, I was seeing either PHP or C#, or ASP guys. Like they were everywhere.
Yeah.
So then I took the course. I went home and then I studied the course in 2 weeks. I finished everything, and then I met him and I was like, "You finished everything in 2 weeks?" I was like, "Yes."
And you built something with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did everything in the course in 2 weeks, and the guy was like, "Wow, I like this. So then I started following him to his office. He told me like every morning from Mondays to Fridays we go to his office, and then he gave me a couple of other courses like a JavaScript course on calculator. Okay. So I built. So then he had 2 students. He had me and one other girl like that.
Okay.
In his office. So he gave us, a challenge that we should build a calculator in JavaScript. So I built it in JavaScript, and the guy didn't build it. So he was now using me like
you're the star student.
So I was the star student. So so that was it. So fast forward, we stopped talking for a while, but I was working.
Okay.
We stopped because I was working, but we stopped talking for a while.
Working as in getting gigs and stuff?
No, I was not getting gigs, Nibo.
So what kind of work were you doing?
Okay, let me correct it. I was playing drums.
Yeah. It's true. You said you used to beat drums for...
Yeah. So even at that time, I was playing drums for a church.
Okay.
That pays me like 8K every month.
Okay.
So they pay me like 4K. So 2K for every Sundays. And then, so they pay me 4K every 2 weeks. So at that point also I was learning, software stuff. And then, so one morning, that was 2018. Yeah, 2018. I think that 2018 April, March, I can't really recall. One morning, my uncle just called me like, "Alpha," said, "Fine." He said, "Can you build a WordPress plugin for your company in Abuja?" Okay. I was like, "Okay, what kind of WordPress plugin?" He said something like InterSwitch. InterSwitch is a payment gateway. So so they're looking for someone.
They wanted to integrate InterSwitch into WordPress.
No, not InterSwitch now. Something like InterSwitch.
Oh, something like InterSwitch.
So this was a company. This is a company actually. It's still a company. So they had a product. I don't know if they still have the product, but they had a product then called Usoftway.
Okay.
Right. So it's a payment gateway. So they wanted a plugin for WordPress.
Oh, okay. Their own custom.
Yeah, so I have never touched WordPress code before. All I have been doing is just tiny PHP projects. But then when he asked me if I could, me now, so there's this thing I have, they always believe myself. So
I know.
I believe myself. So it was like, "Are you it?" I said yes. It was like, "Are you sure?" I said yes. So that night, he now called me. That same day, he called me around, I think 7. I was like, I should come. Let's go to his friend's place. So then we went to the CEO's house. That's the owner of Osoft, the guy. Yeah. So we went to his house, and then he introduced me to the guy. Like, this is my intern. This is my boy. He does PHP and stuff. So he now asked me if I can build it. I said yes, I can build it. And then he now gave me. Then he now explained the whole project for me and everything, gave me their documentation and everything. At first, I didn't know where to start, because when I looked at the whole WordPress documentation, oh my God, it was just. So I haven't really worked in a very large code base like that, where I've had to work with codes that are not my own. So I was like, okay, where do I start from? Then my uncle was now like, okay, I should go and look at, a plugin, a payment gateway plugin before, and look through their code. Yes, and so that was the thing. So I looked for one of these popular. I'm not going to mention, so it won't come out. So I looked for a payment company that has a WordPress plugin. Okay, and then I copied their code.
You copied it. Wait. I don't. The thing is that. I will say that proudly. I will say that proudly because
no,
we all copied each other's code.
Wait. Why not to mention the name?
One way or the other.
I'm not going to mention the name.
Okay.
So they will not come for me.
You don't say you have our proprietary code inside your.
So I copied their code. I copied their code, and then I even made some improvements on it.
Then it becomes your code.
Yeah. So in like 1 week, I was done.
Okay.
And then they were like, wow, this guy.
Impressive.
When you said this guy is intern now. So my boss said yes, it's intern, but
intern to bad.
So now the funny thing was, they had interns there too.
Okay.
So they were expecting like similar performance to the interns. But when I came and then I delivered something that they were thinking they had to go and look for one very senior guy or contact, people in some of these payment companies to develop. So they were shocked, like, this guy is able to deliver this in 1 week. And so they paid me 70K then, just 1 week. This was 2018.
That's fresh.
When they paid me 70K, I was like, wow. No.
Let me go drop that dummy.
Let me drop that. Because that's like what I earned.
Okay.
Playing drums for like 10 months. Because,
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That was your yearly.
I made it in 1 week, and I was like, no, this tech is the way. So and from there I started, although I left the company though, I didn't really do stuff with them because, like I said, they were doing C#, they were doing a lot of Microsoft. And then me, I didn't want to, because that ecosystem, I didn't want to put myself in that closed
enterprise.
And I want to be this open source guy that does everything. And again, so at that point, I started, I discovered there was something called Node.js. I was like, this is nice now. Instead of writing JavaScript in the front end and PHP at the back end, why didn't I just do JavaScript front end and back end? So I ditched PHP totally. That was the last time. That project, that WordPress plugin I wrote, that was the first production PHP code I wrote. And that was the last production PHP I wrote. So after then, I just switched to Node.js, and then I started. I also learned Angular at a point because I wanted to go into mobile. I wanted to go into mobile development, but then I discovered Angular was just too, cumbersome for me.
Was it Angular 2? Because at that time, Angular 2 had come out.
Yeah, Angular 2.
I used Angular 1 between 2014 to 2016.
No, this was Angular 2.
But I remember 2017. I remember a specific project. In fact, I was building it with my guy that came for the last interview. Yeah. And it was Angular 2. It was my very first. So, yeah, sure.
Yeah, so that's Angular 2. So the funny thing was, I learned TypeScript early. Was it? Yeah, late 2017, early 2018. That was when I learned TypeScript. And then I was going around talking about TypeScript, and everybody was looking at me like, this guy, what's this guy? So there's one of my friend, Chris. Yeah. I met in that period. Great. So the first day I met Chris, we were talking. I was like, I do TypeScript. Chris was now looking like, what is TypeScript? So I now told Chris about TypeScript. So I was evangelizing about TypeScript so much. I was always TypeScript. Chris changed my name on his phone to Shegun TypeScript.
I think TypeScript, now that you mention it, sorry, we know we are talking about remote jobs, but that's how we'll get there. TypeScript owes a lot of its popularity to Angular. To Angular 2.
Yeah.
Angular 2 forced TypeScript on everybody.
Yeah, I learned TypeScript because of Angular 2. I didn't know there was something called TypeScript.
Me too.
I
That
started
was,
learning
that was when
Angular
I was
too.
using
And then I
TypeScript.
now discovered there's something called TypeScript. So I was telling everybody learn TypeScript. So anytime Chris sees me, he's like, guy, leave me alone.
Free me. Miss me with that TypeScript stuff.
So that was it. And then at that point, you know, I was doing a lot of freelance jobs for, you know, for people, and
Yeah.
I started using WordPress a lot too.
Okay.
Because man must chop now. And then so I was doing a lot of WordPress
Without
projects.
writing PHP.
No, without writing PHP.
How are you doing WordPress without writing PHP?
No, I was just using Teams and stuff.
Okay, just building stuff
Yeah,
for people.
with their
Okay,
things, yeah. So
not
I was-
like going into the code and stuff.
So I was building WordPress, like, you know. So at that point, I was making a lot of money, but
Okay.
again, as at that time, it was like I was flexing because as I am deploying these WordPress sites, another WordPress contract is
it's
coming.
coming. Straight money.
So I was balling steady. So this was 2018, right? So fast forward to 2019, I was still doing the same thing.
Okay.
You know, normal, you know, writing, you know, freelancing, WordPress, writing code, and other stuff like that. So I got another project 2019. I would say like it's one of the most memorable projects I've worked on. So we had to, so again, this is my uncle, the same uncle.
Okay.
Called me one time. I was like, Alpha. Then I was already in school.
Okay.
I was already in school. So this my uncle that time called me and I was like, Alpha, can you build? So now the thing with this particular uncle is my uncle, my boss. Let me call him my boss. So the thing with my boss is his own projects are not very straightforward projects.
Custom.
He asks for things that are very, very difficult to develop. That most times he don't have any experience. But because I need money, I always say yes. So anytime he calls me, can you do this thing? I say yes. So even before 2019, yeah. So 2018, during the December period, so he called me and then it was like, Alpha, there's one project like that in Kuje. Can you write an application to generate ID cards?
Okay.
I was thinking about how I could do it, but then I said, yes, I can. I was like, okay, what are you going to use? I said, I'm going to use React.
Okay.
And then I got there, and then they gave me a list of so there's this file, they have PDFs so there's this government program where they have information of beneficiaries stored.
Okay.
So they exported all this information in a JSON file. It wasn't PDF. So
Okay.
they exported it to JSON, and they wanted a software
Okay.
that can convert these JSON files to ID cards using the name, address, and everything. And then they want the software to still also generate QR code.
Okay.
No, QR code.
Okay.
Yeah. So I thought for a while on how I can achieve that. Then, I just got the idea that I can use the browser to generate PDFs.
Yeah. And print from there.
And print from there. And I can use React, HTML, and CSS. So the project was so hard. So like I said, my boss comes with very, very weird kind of solutions.
And that's where you really learn.
Yeah. So that was where I learned. So it comes with very, very weird solutions that you have to just think out of the box. How can I use React and JavaScript to generate ID cards?
Card with QR code and all that kind of stuff.
So like even after that project, when I tell people, they don't believe like I was able to build an ID card generator with React. Like, how are you able to do it? So, but this project was so difficult. We went to Kuje and then we spent 2 days because they said, and his projects are always gree. We did it now. So his projects are never, all right, go home and you can't flex. His projects are always on you. We did it now. So that night, I went to his house. So when he called me the first day, I went to his house that night. He gave me everything. I was like, yeah, sit down, start doing it.
You coding under supervision.
So he was like,
The worst
so I was
type
like,
of,
what do you want?
And because it's a program, what makes those kind of things annoying? Like, because the person is a programmer, if they know what you are doing. So yeah, just do it.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, do it. I was like, boss, wait, don't worry, what do you want? Do you want anything? So that time I like Pringles a lot.
Okay.
So anytime he tells me to come like that, we just go buy like 3 Pringles, give me, the code. So I went to his house that
They
night.
fuel you.
Yeah, so I left his house around 8 p.m. that night. So he called me the next morning. As early as 8, we left. We went to Kuje. So we stayed at Kuje. So I had to use React. That was when we had things like React hooks.
Yeah.
I had to use React. I
can't believe you just said that's when we had things like React hooks.
Yes,
like
React
in the past.
2018.
React changes so fast. Like you just called React hooks as if you are talking about web forms in C#.
But you know the funny thing? The funny thing is, I've always been like one of the first guys to learn the latest shiny things there. So as soon as if any new thing is coming out, I am always there. So Chris knows me for that. So Chris is always tired. Anytime I see Chris, I'll be like, guy, you don't see this thing.
I beg, we still learn what we learned yesterday. So, whatever finish what we you don't bring it out.
So Chris is always like, guy, I beg, free me. So that was when, you know, React hooks. I used React hooks. I did a lot of stuff, you know. Now because I was generating, I was handling doing a lot of JSON passing, a lot of JSON stringify. First of all, when you upload the file, I have to store it using Blob. I was using object URLs, right? Then I'll now make a request to the object URLs. That's how I'm able to read the file in the front end. So you can't read the file.
Yeah, sure.
So like I don't even like now that I'm even thinking about I built the solution.
I'm feeling myself
again.
It's just like those days when you remember. Like, I once did further math, and I was tearing this thing. Now that they bring to you now a zero.
Like, how did I even think of? You know, uploading the file, creating a blob, and then using a request to read the content of the blob. Now, this was in 2018. Like, I have never done anything like this
that
before.
And you dared it.
Like, I just...
Which is something I feel is one of the major lessons here about your attitude.
Yeah.
Your attitude, because you are not afraid to dare stuff. Like you just said, once something new is coming out, you grab it. Like the last interview we had, enterprise, and that probably is why you don't like enterprise. No. Enterprise people, no, let that technology exist for 2 years first. let us study it, master it before we start using it. Which is then so. I like that because I think that plays a lot into the whole thing that the whole story that we're trying to say today. The interesting projects, daring you to do to push yourself, to challenge yourself, because you could have been dodging them and just be making your cool WordPress money. I knew guys then that they had 5 years experience, but that 5 years experience was just building WordPress site, and all they do is just look for business up and down. But those guys didn't grow. So when the remote era came, when the era of getting international jobs came, they couldn't. So that is key. I still want to talk about the Wijapa stuff because I think that happened before we met.
Was it? I can't recall.
Can't recall the timeline. Interesting.
Can't recall. We met. Was it okay?
I think 2019 also.
No, I think we met 2020.
No, 2019. 2020 was COVID. We had met before COVID. So we're 2019. For sure.
What I can remember is the first salary I was paid from, you know, when we met, when I was working with you. I used it to change my phone. That's the most memorable thing I can remember. So I've always wanted a Samsung, but I was using one Techno Camon. So the first money I didn't even go home that day. I just from straight. As soon as I saw the money, I can't even remember where I was coming from that day. I just went straight to Banex. Give me Samsung.
Well, my office was close to Banex.
I can't recall, but the Wijapa stuff was also because, you know, like I said, I've always been a hustler. Like I am hustling. So I saw this guy that was trending. Favory was just posting jobs, this. He said he sold his app for 22 million. And me, I need work. I don't need 22 million. I don't even need 1 million. I just want to build stuff. Give me work. Right?
Because I think, you mentioned something that the money I paid you for that first job was like the highest you had gotten that time.
Okay.
The highest single payment.
Yeah, the highest single payment I had gotten that time, yeah. The highest single payment. That was like, I think that was around 120K.
Yeah, 120K. Yeah, 120K. I was even, yeah.
Continue. Yeah. So this guy, I went online one day and I saw this guy called February, and then he was just, you know, sold an app for 22 million. Did this one. I'm like, say this guy, he has a lot of opportunities. Let me DM him. So I DM'd February, and I'm like, boss, I'm a full stack developer. In case if you have projects, I'm available to work. And surprisingly, this guy replied me. I was shocked, like, wow.
Easy like that.
He like, this guy replied me, and then he gave me his WhatsApp number, and he's like, Alpha, text me on WhatsApp. And then I texted February on WhatsApp. And then surprisingly gave me job. And then he said, but then it was more like, do this thing for me. It wasn't like an official job. It gives me like a code base, tells me to like add certain features or tells me to improve it. Or sometimes it tells me. So I did a lot of DevOps. February's period was when I was like when I did a lot of hands-on with Linux. So they had a lot of Linux servers. I had to work with things like DigitalOcean. I had to work with things like, that was the only experience I have with, what's this other, Heroku.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was the only experience I had. I had to host apps on Heroku, DigitalOcean. A lot of times I had to move their apps from one
shared server.
Yeah, from one shared server to the other. So I did a lot of stuff for February. So and February, well, used to pay me. It wasn't a lot, but I was okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I was okay with it. I just
It was
like
more
I said,
about the
it
frequency.
yeah, exactly. So, but I like the fact that he always had something for me to do. That's the thing. He always had something for me to do. So, but February was it wasn't a very calm person. That's the thing. Yeah, I wouldn't say he's hot-headed. No. but he wasn't a calm person. So February is a very, very like, I don't want to say it's impulsive, but then he tends to, he's not someone that is relaxed, right? So he tends to, Alpha, now, where's this thing? Alpha.
Like intense.
Yeah. He's an intense person. Like if he gives you something, February is messaging you 10 p.m. Guy, Alpha, now do this thing. Like the developer needs this thing. So there was one time I had issue. I was like, no, tell the developer they should consume it. So he has a mobile guy.
Yeah.
And then I'm like the backend guy.
Oh, okay.
And then, so I did an endpoint, like an API.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, the mobile guy said, instead of sending number, send string. I'm like, tell the mobile guy, you should convert the number to the string. Everybody was like, no, you convert the number to the string. So we used to have a lot of back and forth like that. Do you understand? Until one day, February stopped paying me.
Just like that.
Just like that. I was like, boss, Alpha.
You kept doing stuff.
Yeah, I kept doing stuff.
Just stop paying.
Because my mind, I was like, this guy is a big boy now, of course.
Ah,
This thing should be changed for him. And I start. So February, first day he didn't pay, second day he didn't pay. I said, boss, wait till they are full up. Like, what's up? He said, you get back to me. You get back to me. That was what he kept saying. So we had some issues, but I don't want to go into the details too much. But he eventually paid.
Yeah.
You understand? He eventually paid. So
I think you shared all the issues that time on
yeah, I shared it, but I don't want to talk about it again. I don't want to talk about it again. But
that's right.
But I actually I would say like I don't regret working with February. I don't because I got to learn some things. Like I said, I did a lot of DevOps.
Yeah.
So that
helped. I think I wanted to say this because one of the things I first got impressed with when I saw you for the first time, I think you and Chris came.
Yeah, me and Chris and I.
For the first time, and I was interviewing you guys in our kitchen.
Yeah.
I think one of the things I got impressed was when you started talking about SSH keys, memory management, and stuff. And I was like, these guys know because we just brought you guys to do front end. So if you have that range, that was impressive. But Chris was kind of timid that day. You were the one.
No, Chris is a very timid guy. So Chris and I, right? I've always been like the guy that is always, disturbing Chris. Yes, I was like, guy, do this thing. So when I got this opportunity from someone called Mr. Bulama. So I went for this. So we met.
We met through Bulama.
Yeah, so it was 2020.
2019.
No, I went for 2019. Google Dev Fest.
2020 was COVID. Did they shut everybody out?
Wait.
They shut everybody out 2020 already.
I went for Mr. Bulama Dev Fest.
Yeah.
That was 2019.
Yeah.
Google Dev Fest.
By the way, Bulama is the GDG lead for Abuja.
Yeah. So, like I said, I've always been a host.
I
also met someone there again, also, that has also had like a huge impact on my career. This guy, Ebuka. Also, so
Ebuka, okay, Ebuka stack.
So I met Bulama there. If you see me, like in that Dev Fest, I was like, these Igbo boys, I want to sell spare parts. Like I was explaining my work, I was sweating. Like, Ebuka impressed me because he sat and he listened to everything I had to say. I was even like, this guy don't go tire for me.
You were hawking yourself like big time.
I was so shocked. Ebuka actually listened because me myself, I was like, guy, they stress this guy.
Was he already in Paystack then?
No, he wasn't. Ebuka wasn't by power then.
Oh, you buy power.
Yeah, it was the lead at BuyPower. And so I was like, I built. So then I was talking about this Chrome extension I built. I haven't worked with Chrome extensions before, and it was so complex. So basically, if you go on sites like Amazon, so we had Amazon, we had Etsy, we had a couple of US sites like that. You know, when you click on checkout, we want the extension to take over to be able to automatically extract
like
all the items, like
I
shop
think
for more for
More for
Africa.
Africa. More for Africa used to do that.
Do you know I built this
It
team
looked like
from
magic that time.
I built this team from scratch
Really?
myself. Yes,
Bad guy.
only like I built it from scratch. Anybody that saw that project then, they were so impressed. So that was what I told Ebuka. Even Ebuka was like, I like you. I like what you
because
built.
even then, even as a developer,
Yeah.
whenever I see More for Africa do that, then Amazon doesn't bring stuff here, but through More for Africa, you can get it. So when I saw More for Africa, I was impressed. So if I had seen someone that told me he built that, you don't need to confuse me for that.
So like it was like magic. It was complex. So what I do is when you click the checkout button, right? We already assumed they are logging. We redirect to the checkout page. So what I do is I extract all the
Text.
dumb information.
Yeah.
And then because I don't want people to understand my algorithm, I send that to my API.
Okay.
All right. So then the API now.
Oh, so you don't process it in the front end.
No.
Send it to your back end.
I send
do
it
this
to
thing,
my
return
back
it. Even though you can do it to your
I send it to my backend. So the thing is, so now from the backend, I can control the sites that will support.
Okay.
So the update is in real time. So whenever we add a new site, you understand, I just deploy, a new version of the back end.
Okay.
And then the front end can
Oh
automatically.
yeah, true. So people don't have to reinstall.
Yeah. So the front end now, every 1 hour, I think every 2 hours, the front end sends a request to check for the list of supported sites.
Okay.
So the plugin is just once. Like the extension is once, and then you can always do stuff like that.
That's a very maintainable thing.
Yeah. And I was building this thing on my own. Like, you get, this was just, by myself.
Yeah, because I think one of the things I remember that you mentioned is also that I think when we met was the first teamwork.
Yeah, that was the first teamwork. And then you also asked me some questions about my plugins. Now, the funny thing is, I remember your questions you asked me.
Yeah.
I don't even understand my own plugin very well. You're the one that was now explaining my code to me. So there was one part where I was retrieving something from the local storage, and then you were like, okay, why do you do this? Because it was a callback, which is an asynchronous, and then I wrapped it in a promise. And then when I asked me, why do you wrap it in a promise? I said, when I did it, I caught this one. This one didn't work. So I said, okay, let me wrap it in promise. I didn't understand. Yeah. So I didn't understand it was. So you not explained like that is because this is an asynchronous call. So that's why you had to wrap it in a promise so that you can await. Yeah. So when so I was like,
okay. That's what I did. Okay. But it was okay. Reminds me of the day I was building e-commerce site that time. I just go and look at PHP code. It's working.
But this one now, the funny thing is I didn't copy you. I built this myself. Yeah, so it just made sense.
But like the why.
Yeah.
You knew the what?
I knew.
You knew the how?
Yeah.
The why was what was basically.
But I just knew for this thing too, because I noticed like the order function was executed before the asynchronous function. I just feel like, okay, let me look for a way to await this thing. But I didn't understand that it's because it was an asynchronous function.
You off it and on it back.
Yeah, so that was when I met Mr. Blama, and then I also, in fact, Mr. Blama too also tried for me. No. So I'm a developer. I have done this one. Chris was at the background. Chris was just like, Chris don't have energy.
No. And the funny thing is, you see, I like the way how you're sharing this because I didn't even know a lot of these stories back then. Because you see, this kind of boldness is what you need to look for these jobs.
Yeah,
it's what you need to look for these jobs because, like a lot of people, they will read a list of requirements for a job, like 10. They will match 7. They will see 3 that they don't match, and they will automatically just, I can't do it. they will not apply. They will not apply. Or on the job, they give you something instead of you to take it as a challenge. Out of fear, you start showing yourself that you don't know what you're doing, and that's so. I like how you're adding this because I think the mentality matters a lot when it comes to operating in this space, getting these remote jobs, performing well at international companies. And like sometimes you just get things done. Go and know why later. You get things done.
So that's the thing, and that was something my boss, my uncle, liked about me. Is the fact that anything he brings, I always
always yes.
Yes. So that was something he also liked about me. You understand? So when I met Mr. Blama, I was like, I'm a developer, I'm a this one. You know, thinking about it now, like, why did those guys even answer me?
Because you wouldn't have answered yourself.
Because they were like 50. What is 50? We were like hundreds of developers there.
Yeah, definitely.
Ebuka gave me his number. Surprisingly, Mr. Blama gave me his number too and told me to text him. So Mr. Blama now referred me to you. Yeah. And I still message Mr. Blama every Christmas. Like,
he's a wonderful guy.
I just want to greet you Merry Christmas.
I think we talked a lot last year, especially when I was coming back to this YouTube channel. So he was always following up with my videos. Then he started making some of his own. He's a very chill guy. He was the one that gave me my first talking spot at GDG. Then I just attend GDG. I don't even know. I'm not the kind of person that I roll with community a lot. I'll just come watch you people and just go back home. But Bulama was the first. Come and talk about this. Come and talk about that. There was even a talk I had. He did a whole trailer video about the talk I was going to give on that particular. So all this brute force and can-do attitude that got into this sport, and even you and I met and all that. At what point did you decide to say, okay, I think I'm going to start targeting the dollars now. I think I'm going to start targeting international jobs.
No, I didn't get into tech because of money. Right?
Are you sure?
Yes.
With that 70K?
Wait.
You have already counted yourself.
70K wasn't money. No, 70K wasn't money. Like, on the grand scheme of things.
Okay.
I'm coming.
No, yeah, sure.
Like,
definitely.
It's not the kind of money where you go and buy a Benz tomorrow.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting
that kind of.
No.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting I'm going to be a millionaire. No, in like 3-4 years. No. So I just wanted to do like all my aim was, if I get a job that pays me like 200K, 300K every month, I'm okay. You understand? So that was all my aim, like just a job that pays well, you know, and then from there I can try to build my life and stuff like that. So so I didn't know, you know, there are remote guys any money. So like I said, I went for one talk one day and then I saw tech guys. This Google Dev Fest that we did. And that's 2019. And then I saw tech guys using MacBook. And I know MacBook is like 1.5 million. I'm like, you push your way though.
Where are you seeing this money?
I was carrying my
Toshiba. See the Toshiba.
Okay, no. There was one of my other uncle.
Okay.
Like, I had so many people help me. Like, so many people helped me. So there was one of my other uncle that bought one MacBook for me. But then it was this 211 MacBook as of 2019. And then they've even stopped. It's software updates. It doesn't support the recent.
Like this guy.
The software updates. So I met tech guys and I saw tech guys looking nice. I was like, so then it was iPhone X. I saw tech guys using the latest iPhone. I said, what did they stop? Maybe there's an update too. And I feel like say update today. What I don't do.
Well, now they see this morning.
You see, and then Ebuka bought one very sexy looking Lexus. I was like,
It's not the same tech.
Have you other shit? You know?
Tell me what your own tech is.
Yeah. So that was it. I was like, no. And me, I was very, very stubborn. Oh my God. So in fact, so there was this tech guys in Abuja, like a lot of them there. I met at the Dev Fest. I collected all their numbers. I collected
your packing number.
I collected Nelson. That was where I met Nelson. That was where I met KZ. KZ is also someone I'll get back to. That was where I met KZ. That was where I met so many people. I collected all their numbers. So they never used to reply me. The only person that used to reply me then was this guy, Ebuka.
Okay.
But Ebuka, I made sure I don't used to ask him for money.
That's good.
I don't used to. The only time I text Ebuka is anything that has to do with work. You understand? Because he gave me his number, I didn't want to.
I know.
So because of that, he replies my message. So anytime he sees my message, he knows.
It's not be Billy.
No be Billy. This guy wants to say something sensible. Yeah, so but then the other people, we don't even talk like that. So I haven't forgotten what I was talking about.
Well, how you collected with number, getting to your first remote job.
Yeah.
And when you knew that you should be targeting.
Okay, so 2020, right? So that was when I started using Twitter. Like I said, I met Favory on Twitter. So,
Okay, yeah.
So that was when I started using Twitter more. Then I started seeing updates on Twitter. I was seeing tech, bro. Twitter. Started doing tech.
Benz, BMW.
$3,000 per month. And I was like, wait now. I did the conversion. Then Naira was like, I think Naira was like 350 then.
Yeah, it was around 350.
I did the conversion. I see 900K. See people $5,000, 1 point something million. You should hold on. What's going on here? So I've always been a stubborn person. I just went online, went on LinkedIn, started applying. I was applying.
How are they making it?
In fact, the rejection I got, oh my god, they rejected me.
You almost reject yourself.
They rejected me. I had to tell myself, calm down.
You were just blasting CV anyway.
So I was like, calm down. This is obviously not working. You need to restructure. So, and I met a guy on Twitter. I've forgotten his name. I don't see his account again. It's something Zachariah or something like that. I can't remember. So I DM'd the guy, and then I was like, boss, because he was also working remotely. I was like, guy Alpha, please. I've been applying for remote jobs, and then they are not getting back to me. What do you think? Could be the reason. I was like, okay, I should share my CV with him. I don't even know why these people are answering me. Like, they don't owe me anything. These people I know was supposed to.
That's how you guys.
They are not even supposed to ask. Like,
That's how you guys.
this guy was even texting me, told me to share my CV with him. And then I did. And then he looked at my CV. I was like, why are you using this kind of CV to apply for international jobs?
It's even machine that will reject you. It won't get to the point of human being.
Yeah, like,
machine will already reject you.
Yeah, look at which kind of rubbish CV is this? It was not like, this CV is only in Nigeria, you can land jobs. Like, in Nigeria, it looks like an intermediate level.
Yeah.
But then internationally, it looks like you're a junior guy.
You're a hustler.
Yeah, a junior guy. Like, you don't know what you're doing. So the guy now told me I should go back. You understand? And I should go and rewrite my CV. So then that was what I did. So I went back, and then I changed my CV, brushed it up, and then he looked at it. I was like, okay, this one is good. He told me, like, the chances are very slim. That was what he told me. Like, the chances are very, very slim.
Was real with you.
Because then I had just 3 years experience, right? This was 2020, so I had just 3 years experience.
Yeah.
And then most of these guys had 5 years experience. You understand? Some of these guys worked for Interswitch. So that was how they were able to land international jobs.
Some went through Andela.
So these guys had, like, they already had,
cachet of
there's like, they already have something to show.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm it. But me,
WordPress sites.
So again, Casey wasn't replying me.
Okay.
But I was always texting Casey. I was texting Casey like every 2 weeks or every month. If I see another rejection again, I'll go and text Casey like, Casey, how far now? I need a job. But before Casey, I missed a vital part of this story. So before Casey, Ebuka got a job. Okay. And then not a job, like a freelance contract. And then he now because I was always disturbing Ebuka. So Ebuka now texted me like, he didn't even text me. I texted him that day and I was like, okay, yeah. There's something I would like us to work on. And then he said I should come to his house. So I went to his house. Ebuka was staying in one very nice place. I said, what's this? I calculated his rent. His rent was like 2 million per year. I said,
and at that time,
I was like, I don't know.
Show me the way.
Me, I was staying in one 250K apartment. And they try, they try. I was thinking like,
you're
and
doing
try.
well.
Yeah. But then I saw Ebuka, I was like, oh no, we did together. So Ebuka really helped me also because I was one of after working with you, someone that also really helped me was Ebuka because I worked with someone that has, built real world applications after you. And then there were a lot of stuff, he pointed out for me in my code. It was like I gained 6 month experience. We just worked for like 1 month. And then it showed me so many things. Like, for example, I didn't even know the idea of atomic updates. I didn't know there was anything called atomic updates. So if I was charging people, I will fetch the user, minus the amount, and then do an update.
You know, no use transaction.
Ebuka said no. Ebuka wanted to cry. You know, the way he said the no so passionately, like, guy, what is this? You know,
you're playing with fire.
You understand? Like, and I think really, without explain, like this is money.
Yeah,
you can't handle money like this. You have to do a find and update. It has to be one
atomic
transaction. Yeah. So then when you now mentioned atomic, and I went online to search for what is the meaning of atomic in DB. Yeah. That's when I started understanding. So at that point of working with Ebuka, you know, I now really like it sort of like exposed me. So before I was just coding. I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah.
You understand?
And you don't search for it.
Yes. I don't know that I don't know this thing. I am supposed to learn this thing. But Ebuka now, working with Ebuka now made me understand like there are things that I don't know. But now I now know some things that I don't know. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Of course, I don't know everything at that point, but I know that at least there are things. You know, there are things I don't know.
Holes in my knowledge that I need to fill.
Yeah, and I know that I can identify them. You understand? So that was one of the things that working with Ebuka helped me. So after Ebuka, I really, you know, I'll say I learned a lot after Ebuka. So I did a lot of deep diving. I learned a lot of things. That was when I started learning about system architecture. I started learning about things like load balancing. Started learning about things like transactional DBs, the difference between Postgres, MySQL.
Yeah.
I mean, Postgres.
NoSQL and
SQL. Yeah, SQL and SQL DB. So I started learning a lot. So then anytime I get a rejection, I will text Casey. I'm still here, boss. If you have anything, I'm still here.
And sorry to cut you.
Yeah.
That's what I tell a lot of people these days. You know, I see a lot of these young people that they want to have this same success and all that. Even a lot of them say, "Oh yeah, I want you to mentor me and all that." I mean, see, you are the one that will be following up your mentor. You know, it's not your mentor that will be chasing you.
Like
you are the one that will be chasing you are the one that will be calling someone back to back.
There is someone like, was it last month or 2 months ago? There's a lady. She's like, somebody's texting you and not even replying. I'm like.
You never text. You text 100 times.
So Casey, anytime Casey reply, Casey is like, "Please, I'm sorry, I'm not active on WhatsApp." I was like, "No problem, no, just
you don't need to reply about it."
So I told Casey, "You don't need to reply me. Just have the reminder, just see the message. Like that's all I need." So one day, Casey just texted me like, "Alpha, do you want to work with Demos?" So there was this company called
Demos.
Yes, Demos. So
that's how you got to Demos.
Yes, now.
Nice.
So Demos then was trendy in 2020. They were like, anybody in Demos is a bad guy.
Sure.
So when Casey was like, "Do you want to work at Demos?" I was like, "Guy, yeah." It was like, "Okay, we'll schedule an interview for you next week." So I now went again, did a lot of studies, you know, learned. So like, I started learning stuff like that was when I learned about stuff like sharding, partitioning, stuff like that.
Demos was a Nigerian South African company.
Yeah. Well, mostly South African.
South African.
Yeah. So that's when I learned about things like sharding and the rest. And so then I had the interview. So I was just feeling myself because everything I studied, the guy coming out. Like the guy would ask like a simple question, like, okay, I can't really think of something, but the guy will ask a very simple question. I'll answer the question, and then, you know, add more reasons, like why my answer is the correct answer and every other answer is wrong. So like the guy was so impressed. They gave me an offer that day.
Oh, that day?
Yeah. And then they texted me first with like, this is the amount we want to pay you.
Yeah.
And I showed Casey. Casey said, "No, I should not take it." I said, "Guy."
Oh wait, so Casey was the guy telling you not to collect it because you sent me a message.
Yeah.
About that.
Where you sent me a message. I sent you a message about them.
You now said someone told you can ask for more.
Yeah. So Casey was like, "Guy." Okay, yeah. Casey was like, "Casey, please now.
Big money.
I don't want to now. Please let me. I don't think I flex." Casey was like, No. Guy, don't take it.
Because I remember you told me
tell them you don't want.
You told me, "Sir, someone is telling me I should not accept this one." I think it was in Naira now.
Yeah, it was in Naira. No. Then was facing Naira then. I don't know. I
think it was 600. Right?
Yeah.
And guy was like, "You can collect more."
Okay, yeah. So they wanted to pay 600, and then Casey was like, No. Then you want 750. Casey, why? Casey did not understand my position. Me,
Bros.
600K. I don't blow. Then how much was done? That was like 300 then.
Yeah, so that was like 2K. That was like 2K.
2K. Like, Casey, what's the happen now?
Let me start my
Let
soft
me
life.
collect this
Let me start my soft
Casey
life.
was like, no, tell them you want 750. I was like, okay. I was typing the message, it's, you know. I didn't
Before
say
they collect it
750.
back.
I said 700.
Marco Bawi.
And then they were not like, okay, we'll give you 680.
Yeah.
I met Casey.
Yeah, I
Casey
remember
said
that
no.
was final. That was final.
Casey said no. Collect 7. I said, Casey, let me just 20,000. I was like, Casey, don't worry. Don't worry.
Let me
It's
dash
my
you.
job. It's, let me collect.
I was inside here that day. I was inside here that day when I got up.
It's okay. Don't worry, Casey. It's just 20,000. You don't worry. I'll collect it like that. So I took the job from Demos, and then, you know, that was my first remote job. And then Demos gave me like this credibility now. So Demos was a company that, you know, when I got Demos on my CV, it just elevated me. Yeah. So there were places before where, you know, they even this guy, this guy a bad guy. So a lot of people it's on like on tech Twitter and I like feeling like this guy. You understand?
Because
This guy
Demos
deserves
had clout.
Yeah.
They had clout. So it's not like one unknown company somewhere.
Yeah.
That company can be paying you even way more. But Demos had the clout.
And
So
Demos
you
was
say you were
going
working
to-
at Demos.
Yeah.
This guy Tiami himself was there at some point in time.
Yeah.
You remember this I think his Twitter name is
Which guy?
your neighborhood Backman.
Yeah, Bakari.
Tiamiyu.
Yeah,
Bakari.
yeah.
He was-
yeah. This guy was
he
also
was
there
there.
to Shalva.
Okay.
That guy that built to remind me of this.
Okay. Oh yeah.
He was also there. So like
The
them
Twitter bots.
had some really
They
like
had bad guys.
bad guys. So everybody was looking at you like a bad guy.
That's one thing that you ride on the wings of some companies that
Yeah.
had good name.
Yeah, so the thing was, Demos now said they were going to give me a 2018 MacBook Pro in 2020. I was like, Cha! You know, I was just
Fresh up.
no. In fact, that day was, you know, I was just feeling myself, but I was working. I made sure that I was delivering on, you know, on this stuff, and I really enjoyed my stay at Demos because I like their culture. Demos was a very, very fun place to work. The CEO was a nice guy. We had a channel that was dedicated to jokes. Like you can go to the channel and then just be insulting yourself on the channel. Like so, me for the first month I joined, I was like, let me buy 680,000.
And be a good boy.
Maybe own this, make I own this one. Case was always, you know, bantering people on that channel. He was always calling out people, entering them. Over the seniors, our principal engineer there, Casey said, "Go, you have the guy." I'm like, Casey, 680.
Let's not fumble this bag. No, fumble this bag.
No. So then I met one of my guys, Silas, was also.
That's why you met Silas.
Yeah, no, Silas and I went to the same secondary school.
Oh, okay. Because
Yeah,
I know that's one of
Silas
the
was also a
main
tech
guys.
guy. Yeah, you understand. So now I also was a motivation to Silas.
Okay.
Because Silas was seeing my movement
progress,
steadily.
yeah.
If I do something, Silas will be like, me too, I have to do this thing. You understand that kind of.
It's not Silas that calls himself Zuckerberg.
Yeah. So Silas also like, I'm working for Demos. You understand? So Silas also got a very nice job then too. You understand? So, but then he was doing primarily front end. And you know, there's this bias towards front end guys. They tend to pay back end guys more
Yeah.
than front end
Because
guys
of-
then. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then Silas was now working for Mono at this point.
Okay.
And then I'm like, there was this hype again with Mono, like Mono. And I really liked what Mono was working on. It was like magic.
Mono was fintech. Now.
Yeah, it was like magic. The fact that I can log with my bank credentials on Mono and I get all my accounts and everything, and then it looks exactly like my bank app. You understand? I know it was reverse engineered, but like it was so good. I'm like, no, these guys are bad guys. You understand? And me, I always want to work with the bad guys so that I can become a bad guy. You understand?
The next big challenge.
I always want to work with guys that are doing really, really, really complex stuff.
Yeah.
really, really novel stuff.
So to kind of like validate yourself.
Yeah, and also to improve, to grow.
Yeah.
That was actually, I wanted to do like good stuff. I want to be where I can, get challenged and build really, really complex stuff. So then Silas, talked about Mono, and then he was like, they are looking for a developer, and then he sent me their link, and then I did their challenge, and then they hired me, and then I left Mono shortly after.
You left Demos.
I left Demos for Mono. Yeah.
Yeah, you left Demos for Mono.
I left Demos for Mono, and then I left Mono shortly after.
I know.
I don't want to
No,
talk
we'll
about
discuss that one. We'll discuss that one will come in our in our next discussion.
So then I got so now my first remote job that is not Nigerian, that I got directly without any kind of referral, was April 2021. So that was with a company in Chicago, US, called Genity. So they were building cloud infrastructure.
Okay.
You understand?
Fine. Okay.
Cloud. That was why I applied. Right. So they were doing stuff
That's nice.
So that was not even the normal web stuff. You understand? So I'm like, okay, I want to see how VMs work and these guys build these things.
Core
and
engineering.
Yeah. So I got into Genity. And
Genity.
and I was not meeting up the cutoff mark.
I like that. I like that you're being sincere.
Now, Genity was working with Golang.
Okay.
You understand? And then I just started, working with
Getting
Golang
into Go,
at that point. And then again, I also applied because Genity is Golang.
Okay.
Right. So then when I got there, and then they did a lot of Golang stuff, and it was so challenging. Like so. And again, at Genity, you have to do a lot of research work. Right? Because what we are building is not something you can go online
Off
and
the
see.
shelf.
And see one article on how to know.
Okay.
You have to look through the documentation yourself. Sometimes you have to look into the code yourself. So sometimes there are some libraries we are using that have issues, but then the owner of the library is one guy in one country like this
Indonesia or something.
the library has only like 4 stars, and then the guy, we don't even know where the guy did. You understand? So
just build it from scratch, Rico.
So we had to clone the library, and then we ourselves now will now have to like go and
Customize.
like, there are some issues we're having. You can't even Google. Like, you cannot. There was one issue we were having on Mac. It was one guy that discovered the issue. Everybody was feeling the guy because we know what it takes. We know what it takes
troubleshoot that
kind of issue. Like, we couldn't find, there was nothing about that. There was nothing about our issue online. There was nothing about it online. I Googled the facts. I couldn't find anything. So that was our niche, what we were building. It was so like different.
That was a challenge.
That was a challenge, but which I was not meeting up. But then the CEO is a very nice guy. And then he was like, so they call me Solomon because they can't pronounce my Shegun. So it was like, they've been looking at my work, and then it seems like I'm not meeting. Like I said, he's a very nice guy. He's a very chill guy. So it seems like, and he doesn't just want to, fire me like, just like that. He wanted to talk to me first. I'm like, you should just, no worry, you should just give me time that I will be able to adjust. And then I tried though, because he started like giving me good feedback, but then we ran out of money.
Again, the company ran out of money.
Yeah. We were building a very, very, complex niche product that a lot of people don't know about. And then the competition, again, also the investors. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, because we were building something that was so difficult. We don't have enough money. And investors are not willing to put money because they are like 10,010 cloud solutions in the US already.
Yeah.
You understand? So like, guy,
how will you stand out?
you understand? Like, and again, this thing people are building is too hard. If you want to build a cloud infrastructure, right? If you want to build a cloud infrastructure from scratch, what I learned at Genity is you need plenty money and brains. It's not something that you can just build like that. You need to. It's like AI. You understand?
Yeah.
It's like it's
AI
not
is
easy.
expensive.
It's
And
not
you need
easy.
the best brains. On it.
Yeah. It's not easy.
So it's both expensive,
You
human
need-
resource wise.
Yeah. And you need guys that
technological
you need guys that have PhDs and masters because no, for you. That's why you need to start reading white papers on VMs, memory management. You need to do so many low level stuff.
Yeah.
You understand? So it's not something that you can just hire a developer like me. So it's not like I'm,
But you never,
at that
there are levels.
You don't even need no. You don't even need developers. You need computer scientists at that point. You understand? Because you need a lot of computer scientists to bring out like to draft the theory about this thing. Like cloud infrastructure is not beans.
It's not for the faint-hearted.
That's why I said when we were building this thing, it was so difficult. My God, so difficult.
So that was like your first. This might be a harsh word. Failure.
I wouldn't say I failed because now. So at a point, so there was this GraphQL, REST API, this and GraphQL server that they wanted us to work on.
Okay.
That was when I was now shining.
No, because that one is more.
That one is web now.
It's more. It's closer.
I was just tearing the whole thing
Nice.
because I do web a lot. And
that's cool.
Yeah, so the guys were interested. So then the CEO just came on. They like, we need to shut down. We don't have enough funds to do this thing that we're doing, and then
Oh, that sucks. That sucks.
Yeah. So and then I had to stay without a job for a while, and then I now thought to myself like, okay, what's like the fastest way to get a job, right? And then I know like one of the fastest ways to go through this. What do they even call them? Talent platforms or so.
Sorry to pause here. I think from here we'll pivot into the next because you are going.
Okay.
We've captured the experience now.
Yeah.
I love all the stories, honestly, and I love how detailed you are because you see a lot of people just see people do stuff.
Yeah.
They don't really know what goes behind. Times like, you talk about times you're walking yourself like up and down, sending people so many messages, but people just want you to tell them these 5 steps to get there, and they just do everything on the list, and it should automatically produce the result. So, I'm super enjoying the conversation. So, I think in the next section we'll move into this because you're about to talk about how you started sourcing for these remote jobs. Most of the ones you've gotten so far have been like through referrals.
Yeah.
So I think that will be the next. Will be in our next section.